George St Pierre versus Islam Makhachev. Who wins this all-time great welterweight matchup? I'm going to go with George St Pierre because I believe the kicking game would make the difference. George St Pierre not only trained with Freddie Roach to refine his boxing skills, but he also grew up underneath the tutelage of his father, who was a black belt in karate, and that was his initial base. So he has the karate bounce. He knows that, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, MVP, Lyoto Machida, that karate style. George St. Pierre has it too. He just mixes it up differently. So when Stephen Wonderboy Thompson or MVP is doing that bounce, usually you don't got to worry about a takedown in there. With George St. Pierre, you do. So George St. Pierre is so well-rounded on the feet. He's so well-rounded on the mat. He trains with Gordon Ryan and John Danaher, and he's been training with John Danaher for many, 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 many years. You don't think John Danaher could come up with a plan for how to neutralize Islam Makhachev? Craig Jones is a black belt, I believe, under John Danaher, but just because, you're a black belt by John Danaher, that doesn't make you John Danaher, George St. Pierre, great coaching staff, great athletic ability, great well-roundedness. I think he beats Islam Makhachev, guys. I really do. We have seen Islam Makhachev in competitive fights, Volkanovski being one of them, and he's a featherweight, not a lightweight. And then you've got the Dustin Poirier fight. Then, of course, Adriano Martins, who knocked him out. And George St. Pierre, in my opinion, of course, we've seen George St. Pierre lose too. And we saw what happened with George St. Pierre and Johnny Hendricks. Even though, in my opinion, not for nothing, if you're the long-time champion, 9 title defenses like George St. Pierre had, you got to do a little bit more than just knee somebody in the thigh a bunch of times in order to win a round and win a fight. I'm sorry, man, but championship advantage for long reigning champions absolutely does exist, and it should exist. I'm not saying championship advantage should exist for a guy like Jack Della Maddalena who's going for his very first title defense. But if you've got a long reigning champion like George St. Pierre was, yeah, you got to do a little bit more than some little baby punches and knees to the thigh. I'm sorry. This is a compelling matchup, but George St. Pierre is the GOAT for a reason, and I'm going with George St. Pierre to defeat Islam Makhachev in this hypothetical dream world. Let me know what you think in the comments below, whether you agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. Join the discussion. Subscribe for more. Leave a like if you enjoyed the time spent, and thank you. You are all appreciated.